The fun part about when you watch a video that was posted even a year ago, 10 years ago on YouTube, you are watching it and receiving it at the exact time that you are ready to receive the message. So for anybody that's watching this after the posted date, it is still now for you, and this message is for now. You might see me go back and forth. I've got my two computers going and my phone. I'm really excited about even this little bit of my fantasy fulfilling, where I have a library that's floor to ceiling of books, and I've got computers everywhere and more than one whiteboard. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and begin because you don't want too much lag going on if you're watching this at a later time and date. So I'm really excited about this webinar because we just came out of the Mercury retrograde, and I find it's a lot easier to explain astrology, the science of it, and the quantum mechanics behind it when you've had a visceral experience. And those of you who haven't watched me before or been to one of my live sessions, I am originally a technical writer when it comes to astrology, and recently made the shift over to videos. So I love and am in love with the science of astrology. And I'll be going back and forth here between my notes. Don't want to miss anything. So just curious, like, what were the manifestations of Mercury retrograde that you experienced? Because you might be going through it or may have, and the next one is in December 4th of 2017. And I wanted to get you prepared and familiar with the energies so you won't feel as powerless when it comes around again. You'll be aware, you'll know what's coming, and I've created a checklist all the way through 2018 for you that you get to download off of my site. And so that's, up above in the description box. It also, you'll see that there is a link to my webpage and my YouTube channel. So I just wanted you to know that I'm actually the founder and the host of this Facebook group, Cosmic Collective Evolution. And I've been interested in astrology since I was 10 years old, and astronomy as well. Quantum physics, although I didn't know the title of it. I began my practice in February of 2016. I started learning about and becoming fascinated with the moon cycles in 2012, where I had a spiritual awakening. There's some of that in my story on YouTube as well, if you want to check that out. Okay, so here is what Mercury retrograde looks like. So if you aren't sure if you've gone through it or experienced it, I'm going to put this down here so I'm not looking to the side. So Mercury rules transportation, travel, communication, your thought processes, paperwork, even busy work, things with the hands. Funny that I use my hands when you started speaking, but I do that because I have Uranus conjunct Mercury in my third house, and Mercury rules the third house. Oopsies, looks like my, here we go. Mercury rules the signs of Gemini and Virgo, and it just left Virgo back. It's began its retrograde in August. I love that I'm talking about Mercury retrograde right now, and I am having a situation that is similar to Mercury retrograde. I'm trying to use my laptop. It's an older laptop, and it decided it was just going to go to sleep and almost a coma, so now I've got to restart it. So during a Mercury retrograde, you might get a little tongue-tied when you're, like if you had to do a presentation at work, a YouTube video, for instance. I still had to keep going with my YouTube videos, even though it was Mercury retrograde. And there was a little bit of a tongue-tied kind of experience, texting even. During Mercury retrogrades, you will find that your emails and your texts have a propensity to be taken out of context. You know, not many people write letters that much anymore, but you would have noticed that mail is delayed. Any kind of communications that you needed through the mail, through email, is delayed. Also, now that you're paying attention, you will start to see that all of the programs that you use or online sites will seem to go down, and that's because they're updating during Mercury retrogrades. So you get frustrated because you don't understand why your computer's not working, or why it's slowing down, why that website isn't working when, like, you need to get on there and check your bank balance, and or you need to pay a bill and it says that it's going through its upgrades during the time that your bill is due. And so this is where the checklist is going to come in handy for you, because it's a preparation about a week to 2 weeks ahead of when Mercury goes retrograde. So you aren't going to feel as powerless. I may not get to use my notes, but that's okay. So here's a fun fact I got a couple of fun facts. Mercury is a planet that has a molten lava core, similar to the Earth, except that it is the majority of, like 70% of the planet is a molten lava core, and it has a very thin crust. And that thin crust is primarily made up of silica. Now, it's made up of other things, but I'm pulling out a few little facts so that you can have an understanding. Now, the way that we are communicating right now, whether it's on your laptop or your cell phone, is nowadays all through an LED screen. And an LED screen is actually liquid silica, liquid crystal. And we are made up primarily of water. And I have an Astrology 101 course that I did. And some of the notes, not much, but some of the notes are in my YouTube channel under Astrology 101. But the more in-depth program where you get to learn about your unique soul blueprint and what you're here for, that's a course that is going to be coming up soon, like within a week or two, so stay tuned. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to go to Cosmic Collective Evolution on Facebook. I'll go ahead and add that in the description box under the YouTube video. Right now I'm transmitting, or rather right now, I am transmitting this video into my closed Facebook group. So If you want to be part of any of these webinars in the future and be able to engage and ask questions and get live answers, you would need to be a member of the group. So I do all of these fun little free Facebook Live webinars. So back to LED screens and Mercury. So here's another fun fact. If you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, you are not going to be feeling this chaotic or confusing energy. You won't be experiencing it like the rest of the world who doesn't have Mercury retrograde. So there's a huge upside to Mercury retrograde and learning to work with that. One second, please. All right, I'm just going to put you over here, and when you feel like cooperating, you let me know. The computer. So, other areas that Mercury controls, or influences rather, because nothing has any control other than what you allow it. Paperwork, which I know I mentioned, but travel. There would be delays in travel if you decided to move during a Mercury retrograde, which a very close friend of mine who was in a situation that he had to move regardless of Mercury retrograde, and he was aware of the energy, but he had to move. It was during the hurricanes in Florida, and everything was delayed. The truck couldn't get there on time to load it up. The people who were supposed to come and haul the trash out were backed up. So a lot of their plans got kind of screwy, and there was a lot of frustration for them. But when you know it's Mercury retrograde, you can just release it and let it go and know that you've done your work and use that time to meditate, because it's a highly intuitive time. And Mercury, when we're looking at archetypes, is the only god or demigod, I guess he would be considered a demigod in Greek mythology. He's the only one that can travel all up to heaven and back down to earth. So he's our messenger. And this friend, hopefully by today, he gets to have his furniture. Even them loading the truck was delayed. They finally got there, but they were like 5 days behind their schedule. And hence the frustration when you are putting in your schedule of things. So it finally got there after all of that. I'm hoping today you have your furniture and your bed, because I know it's important to you. So that's gonna be it for today, since we're not having any questions. I'll give it a couple more minutes, see if anybody has questions or. Now I am going to do a Mercury retrograde webinar leading up to the December 4th, which is our next Mercury retrograde period. And that one's going to be in Sagittarius. So I'll go more in depth into how that affects everybody. And up above in the description box, there is a link to my YouTube channel, and specifically the video on how to get your own natal chart for free. Because when you watch any of my tutorials or videos. It's really, really great and gives the information so much more value when you have your printed chart in front of you and you can follow along with me, because I will put screenshots of the present energy that I'm talking about, and then you can see how it affects you. As you know, I know that other astrologers just say that, oh, the 27th is going to be a great day and you might meet your soulmate and money's coming in. But when you understand it and you know technically and you know the facts behind it and that it's a science, there is quite a bit of intuitiveness that goes along with it, but it's science and it's numbers and patterns. When you get to learn that with me, which is the most value out of joining this Facebook group, then you are empowered. So get your checklist. It's in the description up above, and that's going to keep you updated all the way through 2018. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you got so much out of it, and I had fun. So, love and light always. Namaste.